The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares.
Somewhere in the shadows you appear. Wish you could make it right, so I can stop seeing your face in the mirror. I see your ghost at night every time I close my eyes. Your ghost at night every time I close my eyes. I see your ghost at night every time I close my eyes. I see your ghost at night every time I close my eyes.
Recorded live at the Jerrad Show studios in Tampa, Florida. It's another episode of the Jerrad Show. And now, here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right. Back again for another one. Thanks again for joining me. Tonight, on the Jerrad Show. It's Wednesday, November 15th, 2017. And as always, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Starting with a little bit of TV, a little bit of television. watch very much. I usually a YouTube guy. I like to watch YouTube. If you can't find something on YouTube that will fulfill your interests, there's something wrong with you, because I swear to God, there's absolutely everything that you could possibly want. You want a crime documentary? Bam, you got it. You want a movie about a puppy? There's tons of them. So many puppy movies. Anyways, thanks a lot for joining me tonight on the Jerrad Show. It's the end of an era. Well, end of a series. It's the end of the American Horror Story. The finale aired last night, and I really have no idea what the hell happened at the end there. I would say spoilers, but I don't think anybody really watches this show. Every time I bring it up on the show, I feel like I have to explain it to everybody, because they're definitely not watching this show. It was just a bunch of craziness this episode. I didn't really understand where it went in the end, why the lady, I don't know why I always want to call Sarah Paulson a girl. Maybe, I have no idea. Maybe I feel like I'm the same age as her, and even though I know that she's older than me, I still, I guess, kind of relate to her some way, and I call her a girl. But she did something with a cloak where she pulled a hood up over her head, and I don't know if that was mentioning something that happened earlier in the season when this crazy lady was part of, she was going to shoot Andy Warhol, Valerie something or other. I don't remember or don't really care. She's some crazy ass feminist that, I guess women are looking up to, and I think maybe that meant that she was part of that cult the entire time, or maybe it has something to do with, I know they have there was a season of American Horror Story called Coven where they were witches, and maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. I was left confused, and the best character of the entire show got his brains blown out in the end of the season. Which, I mean, of course, that's what's going to happen this season. This season really had an underlying feminine power, empowerment. It was just really blatant, though. It was not underlying at all. It was all the hit points that you see on the internet of the resist movement and all that shit. It's just... It got really ridiculous at the end. And I feel like the producers of the show fucked up by going really political, because the politics to me are not scary like that. I don't know. When you bring in politics and supporters and all this shit, it just becomes laughable to me. I don't think it's the horror element is lost, and it just becomes more like a political drama. I mean, we've seen political dramas these days that are absolutely insane, like House of Cards, and so people getting shot and stabbed are not enough for horror. I don't think for it to be an actual horror genre, to meet the criteria to be called horror. I don't think they did enough there. It really just turned into political garbage there at the end. Feeling a lot better, and that's a good thing. I am drinking a lot more water, and I still sound like I'm a little congested, I feel. But I feel a lot better. So I haven't taken Dayquil for the past 2 days. 2 days, no Quil. No NyQuil, no Dayquil. And I'm able to survive. Unfortunately, my lovely lady is coming in from out of town. She was on a business trip out to Houston, and she's coming back into town with the sickness that I had. She got it obviously from me, and then went out to Houston, and then now she's coming back, and she's sick as I was on Friday night. So if you can go back and listen to how shitty I felt last week, I think I was talking about the Little Debbie controversy, this nasty sticky wet honey buns. Man, those things are so gross. If you didn't listen to that, fucking honey buns are gross. They're always wet in the fucking package. I'm serious. Go buy a box, brand new from Publix, open it up, and it's wet inside. Like, it's gross. That's neither here nor there. That was the episode that I was talking about. But tonight, I sat down to start the podcast, and I really didn't have anything written down. I didn't really have I had no real idea what I was going to talk about on the show tonight. I knew I was going to bring up the finale of American Horror Story because I just watched that maybe an hour or two ago. It's fresh on the mind. Even though my take on it probably wasn't that interesting or exciting, that's okay. This is what you really came here for, folks. Tonight, I was starting the podcast and trying to figure out something to talk about, and it came into my head, why didn't I talk about the time that I got catfished? Yeah, that's right. Your boy Jerrad here, host of the Jerrad Show, was catfished. This was years ago. I've been with my lady now for almost 10 years, over 9 years. So this was a long time ago. If I can think back, and had to put a year on it, I would say 2007, maybe early 2008, possibly. What had happened was I was involved in a serious relationship. I put myself all in on a relationship when I was 19 until I was 20. I had just turned 19, and I was almost about to turn 21 when I broke up with this girl, and I was living with her, and it was a terrible relationship. She was abusive, and physically abusive, not just like, she was a cunt. She would, hit me with her fists, and she was not a small lady. She wasn't a fat girl. I wouldn't say she was fat, but she was definitely heavy. And I'm pretty sure she weighed more than I did at the time. And it was a terrible relationship. I finally got out of it and totally cut her off. Because we had broken up a couple times here and there. And she finally left me alone. I gave it up. I stopped answering her phone calls and answering her text messages. And I started moving on. I got away from her. I didn't want to be in my dad's house. I didn't want to live in my dad's house, move out of the girlfriend, out with the girlfriend, and go back to my dad's house. So I decided to go stay with my grandmother. This is my mom's grandmother, or my mom's mother, sorry. And I helped her out with, just doing things around the house. And she would make dinners and stuff like that. And I remember she had a computer, which I did not have a computer at the time. I had a laptop, but it was stolen. When I was in that horrible relationship, I was just around bad people. And I got away from that, and I started living with my grandmother, and she had a computer. And this is back in the times of MySpace. This is when YouTube was just starting out, and Facebook was just barely off of the college thing, because originally it was just for people with college email addresses, and it was just barely off of that. And I was, trolling the MySpaces, talking to different chicks, and meeting different girls and stuff like that. And there was a couple of girls that I had met. The craziest time that I met a girl was a real sweet girl. I'm not going to say her name on the podcast because that's just rude. We only had one encounter. She was a really sweet girl, and I started talking to her through MySpace, I believe it was, or something like that, and wound up meeting her, and she neglected to tell me that she had a medical condition. And when I got to the restaurant and met her, she did kind of look like the pictures that, were online and everything, kind of. But there was a major difference. She was completely ghastly looking. She had some sort of medical condition where she couldn't, the upper part of her body, the upper half of her body could not store fat, any fat cells at all. So it just basically looked like skin on bones. So it was pretty bad. I was young and probably pretty mean about it when talking about it with my friends. But I was very nice to her. I kind of just disappeared, ghosted on her, which was probably mean. I should have been a grown-up and said, hey, this isn't going to work out for me. I'm too much of an asshole, and blamed it all on myself. But I didn't do that. But that wasn't the time that I got catfish. I'm just setting it all up. I'm setting the mood for you, if you will. So I start talking to this girl named Allie. And she was a French girl. And she was a tattoo artist. And she had just stopped working at her job at a strip club as a bartender. And I remember this because I made the song on my MySpace profile. I changed it to T-Pain's something, the bartender. Yeah, that song. I think it's like Bartender, obviously. I guess that would be the name of the song. And so that was her deal. And we were chatting online for a little bit, and eventually we moved over to the phone. I guess I either wanted to talk to her on the phone and, make sure it's not some creepy fucking dude in Kansas City, catfishing me. This was actually somebody in Tampa that was, saying who they were. And I talked to the person on the phone, and I'll just say her name is Allie because that's what I knew her as. And she, every time that I would try to move it to the next level and be like, hey, let's meet up someplace, first off, she wasn't comfortable with it. I think I had a party or something, a birthday party or something for myself. I threw a birthday party. I think it might have been my 21st birthday, actually, in fact. So I invited her over, and she was like, yeah, I'm coming, and ran me along through the whole day. And finally she was like, I got there and I was too nervous and I just pulled off. I was like, that's bullshit. Everybody's out front in the front yard. I got a fucking stage set up in the front yard where everybody's sitting out here. And they were like, she was like, yeah, no, I was there. I saw everybody and I just wanted to go. I got too nervous and I didn't want to, deal with that. So I just went home. And I was like, oh, well, that fucking sucks. But I was like, you're really cool. I like you. And I want to try to keep talking to you. So let's keep talking and maybe we'll plan something later. And we kept talking. She would send me pictures and all this stuff. And eventually I guess I got a little bit tired of it. And I just kind of stopped talking to her. I think I might have been talking to another girl or partying. These were the college years, I like to call them, when I was going to a bunch of college parties. And yeah, I guess I grew tired of it, and we stopped talking. Cut to a couple years later, she emails me just like out of the blue. I guess she still had my email in her contacts, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? It's a long time, haven't been talking to you. This is what's going on with me." I think she said like her dad died, and her mom was sick, and she was going to France soon, and she was gonna be there because her mom couldn't fly very much longer with her health, so that she wanted to fly back to France to be with her family. I guess her mom was French in this story fabrication, because don't forget, this is all a fucking lie. This is all, and no, I'm not salty about it. I'm explaining it. So the girl, she started sending me pictures again, and this time even scandalous pictures, and somehow I was surfing the web, somehow came across a website for pictures with scantily clad women, scandalous photos, if you will. And lo and behold, there's a picture of the girl that had been sending me pictures. That exact picture was sent to me. So I texted her. I said, "Hey, do you know that picture that you sent of yourself is up on the internet?" And the funny thing about this whole thing is, I always questioned her if she was just fucking with me, but I knew it. It had been going on for so long that I was just basically playing a game at this point. It was like a phone app, like a dial a girlfriend, basically, or a girlfriend app. That's what a girlfriend app. That would be exactly how it was, where I could just text some girl or call some girl, talk about my day, ask her about her day, talk about my favorite things and all this stuff, and plans for the future and all this. And how nice it would be if we could just meet up. So if you wanted to maybe go do something this weekend, I'd definitely be down. So, "Oh no, I can't. I'm in France." And then I fucking came to her with the bombshell, like, "Bitch, this ain't you. This is some fucking slut out there taking pictures. Who the fuck are you?" And she finally confessed. She was like, "I am actually a 22-year-old girl in Alabama." She had lived in Alabama the entire time. Which is funny because one time she sent me an address in Tampa. She was like, "This is my house. I'm not there right now, but I'm real. I'm really here." I actually, because I would question her constantly. I knew she was fucking bullshitting me, and she just constantly kept on and kept on and kept on. So I just continued to keep on as well. It was fun for a while. I mean, in some way, I did think that it possibly could be a real person at the beginning, but as things went on, it really became more and more like a joke, and I really couldn't wait to figure out who this person actually was. So that was why when I found the pictures on the internet, I was really just like, "Aha! Gotcha! I finally found that fucking... I finally found the key to the final boss room, and I finally almost beaten this game." She sent me a picture of her. She was overweight, piggy-looking girl. I mean, she was pretty. I guess she was kind of pretty, but not anywhere close to the girl that she was portraying herself out to be. But and definitely somebody I wouldn't be talking to because they live in fucking Alabama and they're not who they're fucking saying they are. They've got something wrong with them in the fucking head. I don't understand how people can do that to people. How people can pretend to be somebody who they're not, to fake their personality. And I don't know. She was very adamant that the person that I had been talking to the entire time was her. It's just all the circumstances around it. Obviously, all the circumstances around it were fucking bullshit. So it was hilarious. It was funny. I wasn't really hurt by it because I knew something was fishy the entire time. And so, I mean, I'm pretty sure she was pretty upset because she couldn't keep talking to me and keep playing the fucking game because she was psychotic and she had to keep that thing going. But, yeah, I mean, too fucking bad, you crazy fucking bitch. I don't know. I enjoyed it for a while, but every game runs its course. Moving on. I love that last night from the What's Trending tab in Facebook. Moving on, in between stories. Moving on. The Deadpool 2 teaser came out today. And it's Deadpool. Wow. Deadpool. Red Bull Deadpool. Try saying that 5 times fast. The Deadpool 2 teaser came out today, and it's Deadpool in a Bob Ross. See, that's what fucked me up. Bob Ross Deadpool. He was in a Bob Ross costume. He was painting happy little trees and flicking his brush off on the side of the easel. It was pretty funny. There was obviously some Easter eggs in there. The painting at the end shows Cable and Deadpool next to each other for the first time. I believe it showed the Indian cab driver, the girlfriend, the lady with the white hair, TJ Miller. Everybody's back in this one except for the bad guy. Or is he? Because we got a little peek at the end of some sort of robotic hand clenching, and it made a little, robo noise. So it could be that guy. What was his name? I can't remember it, but I'm sure you're probably very familiar with the name. What was his? He spelled it out for him. Damn it! I hate when I can't recall things while I'm on the podcast. It's ridiculous. It's because I'm at the same time I'm trying to talk and think about what I'm talking about, and also trying to keep in mind that this is a recording and this is a show, and this is how it's going. There's no cuts or edits on this thing. It's just straight shot. Anyways, the Deadpool 2 teaser was good. It was funny. I'd really like a breakdown of it and to actually go, Easter egg by Easter egg and, reference by reference that are in the teaser and actually get it broken down and see what's going on and what they're talking about. In other news, the Warped Tour, it's the end of an era, just like I said at the beginning. The Warped Tour is ending. Next year will be the last Warped Tour ever, unless they bring it back in 20 years for nostalgia reasons and a cash grab. Never went to a Warped Tour. I enjoyed a lot of the bands that were on the Warped Tour at one time. I believe back in the day it was like Blink-182, Sum 41, SR-71, ML-152, JS-1986. All the number and letter bands, they were so good back then. Linkin Park, I believe, might have been on the Warped Tour at one point. I don't know. I might be wrong. See, that just shows you how much I know, I never went to the Warped Tour. I know Sublime was on the Warped Tour at one point in the 90s, way before I listened to Sublime. I don't know. I think it's cool that it's finally, going to end. And they're not dragging it out another 10 years because obviously they're not getting the sales that they once did. It's not as popular, and it's not as much as it's not a money-making opportunity anymore. You got to pay all those bands, and it really just doesn't work out anymore. You're not getting the same kind of people coming out to the shows as they once did. And understandably so, because, today's music sucks. That's what, that's my old grandpa voice. Today's music is garbage. Back in my day, there was drums and guitars and loud screaming. It's a terrible grandfather impression, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I missed out a little bit by not going to a Warped Tour. No, I didn't. I don't feel like that at all. I don't give a shit. Fuck you, Warped Tour. Good riddance. Moving on. North Korea. All right, here we go. North Korea issues death sentence to Donny T for insulting Kim Jong-un. So, good luck with that, DPRK. Yep, good luck. And maybe you can get some of these people that are in the resist part of the movement. Maybe you can, funnel a whole bunch of money over to them and say, here's $200,000 to meet on this day and trap the president and send him over here or something. That would be horrific. Actually, that would be a great way to get rid of all these, protesters and shit like that. Just by, pretend like they're North Korea, send a bunch of money to them, and, then get them for treason. And then lock them up. Lock them up. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to call it a night, actually. I'm trying to get down to where I'm comfortable doing a 30-minute show so I can add in guests. I want to add in guests to the live version of the show. If I will have a guest on the show, it'll be about 15 minutes longer. And if not, we'll keep it around 30 minutes. So when you listen to the show and it's live next week, you can go ahead and say, is there going to be a guest on or not? Oh, there's not a guest on? Oh, well, tonight's show is only going to be 30 minutes, so I can listen to the whole thing. That's what I want you to be thinking about all week long is, oh man, the Jerrad Show is going live next week. I'm going to be able to call in and talk and troll the radio show, because that's what internet radio shows are all about, trolls. You got to have some trolls calling in and trying to be cool. I don't know. Tomorrow, Thursday. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure it's going to be great. I'll be tuning in to do the podcast. You tune in to listen to it. Deal? Deal. That's it. Have a good night. Jam with it.